Devon Larratt has a pronation that is quite lovely. His outside game has grown much beyond what is typical. His pronation, in my opinion, is second only to Devon's, and he has never lost an outside game. It took years of regular practice and discipline for him to master it. Amazingly, he keeps coming up with fresh ideas and ways to test them out on his arm. Devin, as we know him today, is the result of many years of targeted pronation training. Devin has been able to do very well against the top 99% of arm wrestlers, at one point beating people right under Devon easily. Currently, Devin is even reaching his peak, and he still doesn't train mainly weight. We see how he easily overpowers Dave in the starting round. Dave trains more weight than Devin. Dave couldn't do anything to Devin. At the very least, he was not able to crack Devin's wrist. Weight training does help a lot, while learning and getting the tendons and bones strong in practice. If you're really experienced, then you could get away with table time a few times a month and make strength increases with weights on movements that have a carryover to where you need. He said multiple times that he was doing high rep training, up to 50 reps, 3 to 5 times a day. He did this training even before his table practice when he got so strong. He got to his biggest weights ever in preparation for Devon, doing pronation for 50 reps with 150 pounds or so. Said that in a live stream. There are many approaches to arm wrestling training. Devin's method is one of the many. It is what fits him the most. When he was younger, he did a lot of heavy classic arm wrestling lifts, but with injuries and with his age, this seems to work best for him. I always find Devin's methods incredibly interesting. I wonder though, it seems that this style would be great if you are already a great, strong arm wrestler. To build yourself up to be a strong arm wrestler, you need a lot more, right? Or perhaps it's the Brozank method, which Devin seems to have adopted. Arm wrestle to be good at arm wrestling. So this would just complement your actual workout, which is done at constant practices. I'd love to see some in-depth discussions between Devin and other pros about this method of training. I understand the idea of Devin not fan of warming up because he's used to being army and soldiers don't warm up when enemies show up. They are ready to fight anytime, and your enemy won't wait for you finishing warm-ups. Devin doesn't warm up before the match, but we see behind the scenes in East versus West, everybody warming up and exerting their effort. I think it's important to study Devin's current training methods and, more important, to look at his development through his entire career. Over his decades of arm wrestling, he has developed strengths and techniques that once developed may not need to be trained as frequently but require a lot of training and table time just to unlock. So early on, he may have needed to train cupping and top rolling a ton just to become proficient at them. But now that he's at his current level, he just needs to training rising. Sports science tells us that training with sports, specific exercises, is the most efficient as it most closely transfers to the particular sport in question. Pronation with reverse side pressure. Here Devin is hitting his pronation but not through his thumb or knuckle. It's through the pinky pad. This is a very smart way to target pronation and prevent the opponent from getting in a hook. And to be honest, I have never seen anyone forces Devin into a hook. In terms of Gainati, Devin willingly drove him into a hook battle in order to prevent Gainati from accessing his weapon, the flop press. And there's something unique about Devin's hook. He can pronate from that position even if his hand is fully supinated. I will talk about it in later video.
If you want to clear, if you want to make sure you really hit the person's fingers, drive to the, I'd say, external rotation. This is your top rolling right into a person's fingers and twisting as you go. Some people will wrap high through the knuckle, but I find that this can make the wrist a little bit unstable. I find that this way is safer, and I'd say probably more accurate in terms of what you're actually going to feel.
The multi-spinner. Multi-spinner is the best invention in arm wrestling history. Devin trains with this tool every day. It's so accurate that means it replicates what is going on the table. He trains his cup in combination with pronation. The high rap is for pronation. The large diameter of the multi-spinner puts the hand in worse leverage and stimulate pronation so effectively. The harder you go on cup, the more pressure you will feel on the pronator too. He does a lot of reps, especially after practice or super matches, as it gives an insane pump no other tool can provide. The weights he lifts using the multi-spinner varies accordingly. If it's for endurance and recovery, he would lift light for high reps. But if he wanted to build strength, he goes heavy for 5 reps or less. He also does singles with multi-spinner, not only with free weights,
but it was easy. Gift of time. Love you, Marvin. We should all be a little bit more like you sometimes.
traditional pronation lift. I believe this way of training pronation is the most common among arm wrestlers. The wrist goes from supinated to pronated position, and he's also doing high reps primarily for endurance. The biceps and brachioradialis are well activated during this exercise. At the end of each rep, he squeezes his thumb in order to increase blood flow and grow it.
Way thicker and stronger thumbs, which is the end piece of the entire movement for pronation.
Resistance bands. Devin is the biggest fan of blood flow. He does hundreds of reps with these bands just to nourish the connective tissue with nutrients and oxygen. Resistance bands have been proven to improve strength, size, and function of muscles for those undergoing rehabilitation. He does tons of reps for pronation, and sometimes he does pronation in combination with rising to maximize gains. Bands can provide very light or heavy resistance, which can be used in targeted ways for specific muscles that also protects joints. One major difference is that it involves a lower amount of force on the joints, which means that more stimulus can be provided to the muscles with less chance of injury. This is also good news for anyone with existing injuries or joint pain, because resistance bands may allow you to continue working out and performing exercises that you can't with dumbbells. Devin considers table time as the main factor to get stronger at arm wrestling, so all of his training is homework. Pronation with back pressure. These micro reps are important for maintaining the wrist and prevent getting cupped. He makes sure the belt is wrapped around his thumb. This exercise is also common among arm wrestlers. He built a tremendous base long ago, and he had built upon that base with his old training in arm wrestling all the time. He built most the strength he will ever need. He is only now doing the finishing touches. This works great for him because of all that. This might not be optimal for someone starting out, though, or someone who doesn't have the capability to train every day on top of it. Devin has stopped using 3 sets of 10 5x5 or another more conventional method. Devin has been performing numerous single reps, and he also does them continuously throughout the day. Devin stated that this might occur as frequently as every 20 minutes, and the weight Devin is using will be close to 90% of his 1 rep maximum. Devin basically spends the entire day doing heavy singles while pronating. Although Devin is still performing an enormous volume of work, the fact that he is mostly isometric implies that there will be little muscular tearing, so the volume may not be quite as high as it seems initially, but it is still a lot. Isometric exercise are the unknown fountain of strength that most people don't know about. Nothing will develop strength like isometrics. Devin's current style of training is based on an approach that aims to replicate real match conditions and rounds. This method focuses on creating a simulated environment that mimics the intensity, pressure, and dynamics of a super match. By doing so, Devin can prepare himself physically, mentally, and strategically for the challenges he will face in an actual competition. This training style involves various aspects, lifting 90% of 1 rep max, and also includes endurance-based training with high reps. If he completes the last rep, it means he won the match. But he doesn't train for failure. He goes from light to heavy 40, 50, and 60% of 1 rep max. Additionally, it includes implementing strategies and analyzing different scenarios to enhance decision, making abilities within the context of a fight. Through this meticulous attention to detail, Devin can optimize his preparation for real matches by improving his skills while also acclimating himself to the unique demands that come with competing at a professional level.
So, what did you say? You said train as you...
Like it would be a super match.
Yeah,
Like
so
if you're in a super match, how does super match go? Can you mimic it like
Right.
in weights?
weights,
Mm-hmm.
in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is going to be the first time we're going to do it. I don't know what we're going to call it. Your opening is a single.
In practice, he makes sure to put himself in worst possible position to test himself. He allows them to get high on his hand and gives them advantages.
High up, high up. Good, good, good.